This evening, we're gonna call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. I'm gonna get everybody to stand and do the pledge.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Miss Amy, can you do a roll call?
Trustee Bosker,
Excuse,
Trustee Byler,
excused,
Trustee Manning. Here. Board Chair Miskowitz.
here.
Vice Chair Oldenburg.
Here.
Trustee Ramsey.
Here.
We have a quorum, thank you.
Public comments. Public comment is the time on the agenda for individuals to comment on items that are not on today's agenda. These comments must be about public matters and cannot include any private matters. We will ask individuals to keep their comments to 3 minutes. Do I have any public comments?
Madam Chair, I stand to be recognized.
Yes, sir. Can you state your name for the camera?
My name is David Pafford, Pafford.
Okay.
I have some prepared remarks if I may. Good evening, everyone. It's a privilege to be here tonight. As a former trustee and a community member who cares deeply about our student success, I want to start a conversation about a technology that is already changing our world and will certainly change our students' future, artificial intelligence. I'm not here to propose any new policy, but to ask the simple question, how do we, as a community, prepare our students for what's next? Many of us think of AI as something complicated, maybe something from a movie. But in our schools, it's not a robot taking over the classroom. It's a tool. For our amazing teachers, AI can take care of the busy work, like generating quizzes, creating rubrics, or even helping revise and improve lesson plans. This frees them up to do what they do best, teach and connect with our students. For our students, AI can be like having a personal tutor, helping them practice a skill at their own pace and get immediate feedback. Let me give a few examples of what this looks like in the real school. Imagine a teacher who spends hours grading short answer quizzes. With AI, that can happen almost instantly, and they can spend that time helping a student who is falling behind. Or think of the student who needs a little extra help with a math concept. Instead of waiting for the teacher's free time, an AI tutor can walk them through that issue step by step. And for our teachers, AI can create different versions of the same reading material so that every student can access the content no matter what their reading ability level is. It's not replacing anyone, it's empowering everybody. Stop the clock while I turn the page. But this is just the beginning of the conversation. The goal here is not to rush into anything, but to be thoughtful and intentional. As a community, our next steps should be very simple. First, let's commit to learning more about this technology and how other rural schools in the area are using it. Second, let's create a small working group of trustees, administrators, teachers, parents, and students, all the stakeholders in the district, to discuss both the potential and the concerns. And finally, let's explore a small pilot program to see how it can work for us. The future is here, and our kids deserve a school that prepares them for it. Thank you for your time and your open minds. My hope is that this sparks a thoughtful conversation. If you have any questions, I'm happy to talk. My contact information is available at your request. Let's work together to give our students the best possible future we can. And Madam Chair, if I may, I have ready to donate to the school 2 copies of the book Teaching Students to Use AI Ethically and Responsibly. If you'll accept these, one is designed they're both the same. My intent is to provide one to the superintendent and then one to the teacher or teachers bold enough to really set this stuff in their classrooms and get the ball rolling on it.
You can hand them to Mr. Ramsey, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Pepper, could I get a copy of your document?
Yes,
Or-
I
or
sent
not?
it.
I have a
I sent it. Yes, I can.
Perfect, thank you, for
Yes.
board records, thank you.
Any other public comments at this time? All right. Moving on to item 3, reports, information only. Yes, I am number 1 on that one. So there's a thing, there's 2 things that I need to report. One, I'd like to take the opportunity from the board, not speaking for the board, but kind of. I'd like to personally say thank you, Mr. Ramsey, for going above and beyond this weekend and helping with the custodian issue that we had. I don't know if anybody is aware of this, but he came in and cleaned the whole school for us. So I want to make sure that everybody is aware that we appreciate that very much.
Yep. I had a couple of assistants.
But that's truly amazing, thank you. Also, to let you guys know, I will get pictures, I will send pictures, and if anybody would like to put things in the basket, I still like to do the fundraiser for the Boo Baskets. So unfortunately, I did forget them on my kitchen table, but I will send pictures and we can add things to it that everybody would like to, and then we'll get those the forms filled out for Mrs. G for the student council to approve us, and then we will get moving on that. And we still have training coming up with Miss Keleva on September the 18th at 6 p.m. Anything else?
Until 2 a.m.
I hope not. I have to be in Council at 8 o'clock in the morning the next day, but
Yeah, a lot of questions for her.
that's good. Anything you'd like to add?
Mr. Havens, are you gonna talk about smoke in the AD update at all?
That I planned on.
Okay, so I will appreciate it.
All right, the floor is yours, Mr. Havens.
Sports are going crazy. Very few changes at this early part of the season, which is a great thing. Because usually there's a pile of changes. So we do have some activities, like 3 activities, a couple days. It'll be interesting. The bus contractor will have to figure that out. But we've got going 3 different directions, and it is what it is. But they seem to be taking care of it. We did have a little bus issue the other day on the football bus, but they got home safe and sound. Late. Some of them got rolled in about 4 in the morning. By the time they got home from here.
Did we have issues, we had issues on the bus going?
Going.
Okay,
But when you play a football game starting on Saturday night at 7 o'clock,
right.
that's late. Usually those are 1 o'clock, but when Great Falls has 6 or 7 teams using the one football field.
Okay.
So, next thing would be this smoke, and if it continues to rain like it just did, we won't have to worry about smoke. But the smoke, the way our policy reads now is we go off of Thompson Falls' score, and those of you who don't know how far that away, that's 38 miles to Thompson Falls. It can be a big, huge, even from my house to here, or from my house to Thompson Falls the other day, it probably was 215 at my house to 220. It was so thick and nasty. Thompson Falls was running about 100. So, and then we had a big number here. But I don't know what for sure, like I've emailed you guys a couple times. If we follow just one, or get one, and we can go with it. I didn't realize that we had one here, but it doesn't come up on their DEQ website for some reason.
They say it will be on that site next year more than likely, but we need to track down because that institutional knowledge I think walked out the door with White Cell.
Yeah, if we can get that other, because that database would be great to look at. You know, how many days did we have last week? Over 150, probably 3 or 4. So we could kind of watch that. But you know, if you did, you can click on it, and it was a 61 at 3:30 this afternoon, so which was good.
So along those lines, I think we should put on the agenda for October to update board policy 8130, because
8130.
and we need to work with Mr. Havens, well, and Mr. Ramsey ultimately. The way the policy currently reads is it's a superintendent's decision, but because there's 2 metrics they use, and there's some pretty loose terminology in the current policy, but certainly we want to change Thompson Falls to the location we have on site here.
If we have one and that it's very usable, I would say we need to use that one.
Okay.
And with that being said, you know, it also says 4 hours notice. Well, 20-minute notice might be good enough sometimes. It's the way it blows down through this canyon. It comes, the smoke. But yeah, that's good information. It's good to look at. I mean, it's better to have a number than what we can say. Hey, we can see across the river and see the mountainside. Okay, we're still good. Probably wasn't the, that's how we used to
Probably
measure
not
it.
the most,
It probably wasn't the,
wasn't the most quantifiable method.
no, but we didn't have any measuring
Right.
places, you know, go off of Missoula or Kalispell
And do you have the, you know the website? Ramsey, you're going to get the information so
Yeah.
you can log
I've
into
got
it?
the link to it now, and I'll give them a call or contact them somehow to try to get.
So it's different than the link I sent. There's one where we have like our own dashboard
Right.
for this unit.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was attached to that email that you sent. The link that's our monitor.
Oh.
And
Yeah, but
do
our
you-
dashboard website
Right.
is even different than that.
Okay.
So,
yeah, the dashboard gives you a lot of information
Yeah.
that I can't see and Joel can't see, but you probably can see.
and
Or
from,
Dave.
you think by next meeting we'll have this all worked out and we can revise the,
I
The
would work
policy.
toward getting it worked
Okay.
out by next meeting.
okay,
If not, we do have access to the raw data in real time. So
Yeah,
we,
that
so we can change the policy now.
Mhm.
okay.
And that's all I got.
Okay, I'm on. Couple of things. First, our current enrollment right now, we are at 149 K through 12 with adding in our pre-K and Harmony students. So that's
We're
up
at what,
from
did you say?
149 as of this afternoon in Infant and Campus, we're at 149. I've given you in your packets there, this is an inspection report from the Marsh McLennan insurance. This is an insurance inspection. I've got a couple copies for public as well. Some areas that they noticed. First, there's in the science room, there are breaker panels, had some things in front of it. I've talked to that guy, he's gotten it, beginning to get that cleared, to the historical fire marshal standards, as well as the accessible path to the light switch in the science storage room. There's now a clear pathway there. There's a storage area behind the stage. And we are in progress of getting that cleared to 18 inches from the ceiling. We will go to eye wash stations. There's an eye wash station in the shop room and in the science room, and those will be inspected and maintained with our fire extinguishers maintenance schedule. They had a recommendation 6 on putting the anti-slip tape on the steps of the slide. That's been done. And then recommendation 7, the railing chains on the bridge on the playground, that is also in progress.
When was the steps done?
The steps, well, they were done as of Friday when I asked Dan about it, so at some point between getting the inspection report and Friday, we got it done.
How old is that slide?
I have no idea how old that slide is.
Just seems pretty old.
At the suggestion of Trustee Bosker, we're working on getting blood pressure checks, free blood pressure checks for seniors in our community here on site. I've got Brittany Barnes and Carolyn Carter with Knoxon EMT are getting that set up. So we'll soon be able to offer free blood pressure checks once a month for the seniors in our community. Save them a trip
What
to the
age do you
doctor.
think seniors are?
What age do I think?
62.
Are you qualified?
And you
Not
said
quite.
once a month?
I know somebody else does,
Yes,
so.
once a month. We'll probably set them up in the open office in the office area. And they'll come in and people come in and get the blood pressure check. The Avista construction project, we've got a kickoff meeting scheduled for the 11th with Avista, Noble, and Dan and myself. Dan will be going to that in person. I'll be going virtually from my office. And then construction will begin after that. In the meantime, I will communicate to all elementary teachers and students on safety protocols and expectations for the construction zone. Not to try to climb the fence, they're not to try to interact with the construction workers, all that. On September 4th, we had our back-to-school barbecue. I think that the event was well attended. We got lots of positive feedback. Students and parents participated and even had several extended family members attend as well. So we're looking forward to being able to continue that next year. And if you hear of anybody offering suggestions for improvement, please let us know and we can get those implemented. I was going to talk about the custodial position, but we're aware of that now. And then also in your packet, I want to take a minute and kind of just talk about the role and value of an instructional coach, which is being fulfilled by Courtney Boss this year. I have additional copies for public as well. So what an instructional coach does is they are there to support teachers as partners. They're a non-evaluated position. They provide job-embedded, ongoing professional development. So the way an instructional coach cycle works is the instructional coach will eventually come to a point where she is able to have a pre-meeting with teachers to talk about what instructional strategies that they want the instructional coach to look for, areas that they want improvement in. Then there's an observation where the instructional coach looks for those things, and then there's a post-meeting afterwards. And so the whole purpose of having an instructional coach is to improve instruction building-wide. It's a pretty big job. It matters in a small school because teachers often work in isolation. In large schools, you have grade level teams or you have subject level teams that people can work with. Here, we're a small school, so our teachers are kind of isolated. There's just one teacher for each grade level and subject matter, and so they lose the benefit of having a team. What an instructional coach will provide is a collaborative partner that every teacher needs for planning, for feedback, and problem solving. And through that instructional coach, we get consistency across classrooms, even though even in events of turnover, there's instructional consistency. And Studies have shown it boosts teacher morale and retention, which is critical in small rural schools. Through our work with Side by Side Consulting, we've put together an instructional framework. We have 3 areas of that instructional framework that we're focusing on. There's more than 3 areas in that framework. But this year we're focusing on teachers hosting and discussing with students throughout individual lessons, learning targets. We're called learning targets. A learning target is what you intend the students to learn at the end of that daily lesson. We're working on 4-to-1 positive to corrective interactions. For every, studies have shown that if you have a negative interaction with a student, you need to have 4 to make up for that 1. And so that's an area of focus. And then also increasing opportunities for student response. Studies have shown that when students have multiple opportunities to respond, their engagement increases and their overall learning increases. An instructional coach will provide job-embedded professional growth rather than having professional development opportunities that are just kind of the one and done. These are ongoing and they're regular. It provides the school continuity of language between us. To the administration, it helps ensure priorities are implemented in classrooms. It provides consistent, non-evaluative feedback so administrators can focus on big picture leadership, and supplies data and insights on instructional trends. And benefits for teachers. We get personalized support tailored to individual teachers' needs. Each teacher is in a different place in their professional growth. New teachers need something different than what veteran teachers need. And so an instructional coach can provide personalized support for each teacher at various levels. And for paraeducators, give paraeducators practical strategies and tools to reinforce instruction, manage behavior positively, and engage students effectively. And ultimately, benefits for students. Coaches will help teachers to use data to drive their instruction. It reduces variation in instructional quality across classrooms, and ensures every student has access to high quality instruction. One of the things that speaks pretty loudly to me on instructional coaching, if you look at on the second page of that, the graph or the table at the bottom, the training components and attainment of outcomes in terms of percentage of participants. So this is looking at teachers as they retain their professional development. If they simply study theory, they get 10% knowledge of content, 5% skill implementation, and 0% classroom application. If they sit through a demonstration, 30%, they increase their content of knowledge of content by 30%, skill implementation by 20%, and again, 0% classroom application. When we get to peer coaching or instructional coaching, we can see the numbers there are dramatically greater. And so what an instructional coach can do is speaks loud volumes to what can happen in improvement of a school. And then I have a page of references there for you as well. I've also attached to that, and as part of our Montana Reads grant, this is part 6, this is our professional development plan, which lines out all of the things that were approved for us in attaining that grant, and what our professional development goals are and intentions. And with that, we will eventually want to get to a point where we establish what are called professional learning communities, or PLCs, where small groups of teachers get together and talk about instructional strategies, implement them, and the coaching begins to happen within those small groups. And things have shown over time that those are massively effective in improving instruction. As part of the grant, you know, I know the board all signed off on it, had a chance to look through the grant. We had do the board assurance pages on that, and staff also had a chance to do the staff assurances pages, and they all signed that, knowing what we were going and the direction we're going. So our professional development through the grant is not just literacy focused, it's instructional strategies focused. And so you understand as you're talking to community members or anything like that, where we're going, we're looking at improving instruction across the board at all levels, in all grade levels, in all content areas. So I just wanted you to have an awareness of what an instructional coach does and the purpose and just the big job that it is. And that's my report.
Thank you.
Thank you for this. This is
Thanks for moving the reports up.
Oh,
We do appreciate it.
Just for you, Mr. Higgins.
Alright, did you guys have any questions or any comments for Mr. Ramsey?
Appreciate it.
Moving on to number, item 4, the consent agenda. Can I get would you guys like to do A through E, and then we'll do one for elementary? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, item 4A through E?
I'm making a motion to approve the consent agenda item A through B.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Any public comment? Board discussion.
All the minutes looked good, and the student, I only had some questions on claims and payroll warrants. I don't know if anybody had anything before that.
No, all the minutes to me looked good. It's just,
There are a lot of them to approve.
Yep. Good. Great job. Didn't catch a single thing. Not even a typo.
Thank you.
did we have any questions on the student activities? Did anybody have any questions?
I did not.
Okay, payroll and claims.
So school administrators of Montana membership fees. Looks like we pay 2 of those. Is that
Paying 2 of them.
Oh, it's just split up by 201 and
101 and 201, so
Okay.
it's split into the different funds, kind of like the budget
That's-
meeting where you gotta split everything out
Yep,
by funds appropriately.
from elementary to high school district.
Yes. Fund.org 115. I would admit, seems like there's a bunch of different funding sources lumped into that.
A bunch of different projects are sort of closed, so all the grants go through there, all many donations go through there.
Can I request another cheat sheet from you for those last 4 columns of all the coding?
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Staff meals on PIR days, is that something we've always done?
Yes.
And then all the instruments are those lease fees?
I believe
They are
mostly-
repair fees,
Repair
repair and
fees.
maintenance fees. All of those instruments are district owned,
That's all I,
so they're
that's all the questions
repaired
I
and
had
maintenance yearly.
on claims. Thanks,
Okay.
thank you.
I have one. Schoolhouse IT. We have their, now is that looped in with our website and our app? So where does our website, where is it generated from? And how much do we pay for our website?
So we run our website through, it's called Aptgy.
Okay. And it's tied to our app, correct?
It can be. When things are updated on it, they can go to the app. I don't know that the app is active.
No, the app is not,
Right,
by far not.
right.
That's why I was asking,
Okay.
because I thought maybe it was tied into the schoolhouse IT, because it's technology, so I
Right.
was kind of thinking. So, Miss Sammy, because I know you do not have this number off the top of your head, can you, when you get a chance, can you tell me how much we pay for those two services?
For the Apogee service, for the
Yes, ma'am.
website service?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll look that up and get that to you.
Okay, that was my only question.
Okay.
Any further discussion on payroll and claims?
I have some payroll. So I think there's I assume that one is 8/1 through 8/31, Tammy, the top says 8/22 to 8/22 on it,
For which one?
for payroll.
Classified or?
Class of,
Oh, okay.
whichever
yeah,
one's certified,
But
whichever
the
one's on
actual
top.
payroll date was 8/22, so it's just showing what day that payroll was ran, but it is for the period of 8/1 through 8/30, except for classified, their pay period runs from the 16th until the 15th of the next month. So this payroll actually for classified staff would have been from July 16th through August 15th. The certified staff is August 1 through August 30,
Okay.
when you're talking salary amounts.
Yeah, I think certified is the top, has a typo in it.
Right. But when I ran the report, I just did it
Oh,
for
I
that particular day of payroll,
Never
rather
mind.
than going and changing those dates.
Perfect, thank you. Subs, coaches portion wasn't included this time.
Coaches will not be paid until they complete seasons.
Okay.
I don't believe we would have had any substitutes yet at that time, so it would have been our summer maintenance and our office staff.
Thank you.
Maybe a few of the paras. I don't think they had any hours prior to August 15th.
Thank you, that's all I had.
Any further discussion on payroll and claims? Okay, Miss Tammy, can you take a roll call vote?
Absolutely. Trustee Manning,
Aye.
trustee Miskowitz,
Aye.
vice chair Oldenburg,
Aye.
trustee Ramsey.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Can I get a motion on item 4, consent agenda, item F, approval of the elementary claims and payroll warrants?
Motion to approve elementary claims and payroll warrants.
I second.
Public discussion? Board discussion? Alright, Miss Tammy, can we do a show of hands with Trout Creek sustaining? So, all in favor, raise your hand.
Trout Creek sustaining, motion carries. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Okay, moving on, we have no old business at this time, so we're gonna skip to item 6, new business. Item 6A, consider approval of new trustee appointment, Mr. William Bass.
I make a motion to consider new trustee candidate William Bass.
Second.
Mr. Bass, can you stand up? Thank you. Okay, so, any public discussion at this time? Alright, board, I'm going to ask Mr. Bass 2 questions and then we will open to voting. Okay, so what do you think you can bring to the board?
I think that I have a professional and personal skill set that would be beneficial to the board. My mother's a 6th grade social studies teacher at a Title I school, and my grandmother taught PE for her entire career, so I've grown up around education, we're very involved in sports and extracurriculars in high school, and I write and read reports for a living, so I think that skill could be very advantageous for this board.
And do you have any questions for the board at this moment?
What would you like to see in a new trustee?
Someone that sticks around.
Yeah, I second that one. Me personally, I would like somebody to be involved, not only with the reports and stuff, but with the whole community and aspect of the school.
Sporting events, just school functions in general.
Everything,
All of the above?
anything, yeah.
Great.
So I think it's a commitment. I don't think anyone should join the board unless they're prepared to fully live up to that commitment. So put in the work in good faith. No agenda, objective. Ultimately trying to do what's the best for our students and do so in a manner that's responsible to good people that fund the public schools.
Mrs. Ramsey?
Yeah, just very similar to what everyone else said, just, yeah, be connected and part of the community and, yeah, show interest and, yeah, be here for our students.
Okay. And since this is my very first time of doing this actual particular thing here, Miss Tammy, can you give me some?
Hold on,
Yes.
I gotta make a disclosure.
Okay.
So, Will and I work together, I'm actually the supervisor, so I will be abstaining from vote. Happy to provide a character reference for Mr. Bass, but I won't be voting today.
Miss Tammy, now can you give me some guidance on how to move on from this one, this point? I knew to ask the questions, but now do
Okay.
we just seat him if we don't have any
There
concerns?
is a certificate of trustee appointment. So once the board votes to approve the appointment, then we fill out the paperwork and then he will need to go to the courthouse to be sworn in by our county treasurer.
And that's,
And I have the form
okay.
ready to go if you, as a board, approve him as a new board member.
Okay, so Miss Amy, can you do a voice roll call?
Voice
Yes.
vote, absolutely. So the motion is to approve Mr. William Bass as a trustee.
For the Knox
Trustee,
and Heron.
trustee Manning,
Yes.
board chair Miskowitz.
Aye.
Vice chair Oldenburg,
Abstain.
trustee Ramsey.
Aye.
Motion carries with trustee Oldenburg abstaining.
Welcome to the board.
Thank you.
So after the meeting, I will complete this and get it to you so you can take it up to the county treasurer to be sworn in.
Thank you.
Thank you and welcome.
And Mr. Ramsey, can we update our website now that we are looking for one Knox and
Yeah.
Heron trustee and one Trout Creek trustee?
We'll get there.
Yes. Alright. And can I get a motion for item 6B, consider approval of the 25-26 district school, bus routes?
I make a motion to consider 25-26 school district bus routes.
A second.
Thank you. Any public discussion?
Madam Chair, I stand to be recognized.
Yes, sir.
I had a quick look at it. Did I miss any discussions or Plan Bs for the bridge?
No, sir,
The-
you did not miss any plan.
And is this report designed to have anything in there about that situation?
At this moment, I don't think the county has given us any guidance on how to go on the Plan B at this moment.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, board discussion.
Is this identical to last year, or if not, what has changed?
It is not identical to last year. In the Heron West route is actually shorter. We are not going out to the Idaho border up around Cottonwood. We do not have any students out there at this time. So the mileage has actually decreased for that route. But we do still need to have 2 Heron routes because we would have children, young children on the bus for over an hour if we tried to combine them.
And for the record, that, for the public, that is against the transportation bylaws.
What happens if a train stops them?
It's average.
Hmm.
Under average road conditions, there is a way around it if parents consent, but
Yes, but the normal guidelines that we follow, we try to keep it under an hour.
yeah, I did a deep dive into trying to figure out how do you figure out the number of stops and the routes and all of that, and I was a little bit surprised by the lack of guidance and how much flexibility there is, but seems like we have routes that are working well, and I mean, do it long enough, I assume we've pretty well figured out the most efficient routes. Yeah.
Okay.
And do we have any parents or families concerned with the routes, I guess would be one question.
I have not heard of any
I've
concerns.
not heard of any concerns on it.
Excellent.
Any further discussion? Miss Sammy, can you do a voice vote, please?
Absolutely. Trustee Manning,
Aye.
Board Chair Miskowitz,
Aye.
Vice Chair Oldenburg,
Aye.
and Trustee Ramsey.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to 6, item C, consider approval of temporary custodial service bid proposal.
Motion to consider
Yeah, it's just mouthful there.
temporary custodial services bid proposal.
I second.
Okay, and public discussion? Okay, Mr. Ramsey, the floor is yours.
Okay, first, my own disclosure, this bid proposal comes from Northwest Enterprises LLC, run by Nicola McDonald. They are friends of ours, they live on our property. We do not have a formal, rental agreement with them, so, there's no financial gain to me at all, in this, bid proposal being approved. But on Friday, our custodian resigned his position prior to the start of his shift. We're in need of custodial services. The plan at this point is to go with a temporary bid proposal, which was, the request for bid proposals was placed on the website. And we received this one. So we did look for additional proposals, none have come in. And with our short time frame in which to get this filled, I'm recommending that we approve this bid proposal. And Nicola is here and can provide some details to it and answer questions if you have any.
And this would be a bridge contract, right?
This is a
So this would be a 30-day contract.
30-day bridge contract.
during that time.
During that time, we're gonna continue to solicit additional bids, for a long term. My recommendation is that we go with a contractor for this role, rather than, posting a position. This last time, we got one applicant. And so, I think that we would get more success in finding, custodial services through, the contract, which we've had consistently for many years.
And just for the record, I did talk to our legal representative and, Mr. Ramsey, you have no nepotism, no nothing, there's nothing tied to this
Correct.
with Miss Nicola being on the property, so she did inform me of that, so just to let the public know that there is no nepotism, there's nothing tied to this. I like how the bid is proposed in here.
Yeah, I was gonna say well done and thank you for, the interest.
I'm happy to answer any questions too, if you have them.
We need the help, the very professional, the pre-bid proposal, or the bid proposal was put together very well, very thorough. I did look, made a request of Mrs. Mercer today to provide us financial information on how we have done contracts the past, I think you sent me like 5 years.
I did, it's also in your folder, in your red folder.
It's very similar. I think Mr. Weissel had characterized it as, hiring district staff might be able to do it a little cheaper, but if they end up with much overtime at all, then it ends up being less cost effective. I think that's probably very true. But the $6,000 proposed here for the 30 days is very consistent with what we have been doing for the past 5 years.
Any further discussion? Miss Tammy, can we have a voice?
Well, I think we need to talk about the means by which this is approved, because we don't have a contract that we're approving.
I thought we were approving the contract that's in front of us, this is where
This is a
they're,
bid, not a contract. So we will need to have Pelava generate a contract for us for this purpose.
so Miss Tammy, can we not use the same contract that we previously had Kelvin just change from the cleaning company that we previously had, then to change the names in there?
And or just turn that into a contract proposal. That was a bid because if there was anything you needed to negotiate on it, it was still open and available to negotiate as opposed to a contract, that we'd have to go make changes. So we can just turn that, I can give that to you tomorrow morning or tonight as a contract that I assume maybe board chair signs.
Yes, yes ma'am.
Did we review this?
I have sent it to her, yes, and she responded that we were good to go.
And I also talked to her and I asked her if she had any concerns and she did not say anything. So, that's why I was kinda under the, for some reason, I thought this was the contract for 30 days. I knew it was for 30 days, so.
And I didn't put dates in there either.
Right, I seen that, cause
Right.
I figured that you'd want to start on the day that it got signed, so.
Whatever day you have to move it, cause that would probably end at your next board meeting, when you maybe have other proposals too, which I'd submit one also for a long term.
But I do know that Kelvin is the one who wrote up our contract with, Mrs. Chanowitz's company, so,
Yeah, you might talk to Bea more, because this could become a statement of work, or at least the majority of it could become a statement of work and outline. But if district legal says she's comfortable with it, then I certainly am. I'm very comfortable with everything that's in it, but I'm also not an attorney, so.
be rude at the board meeting, I was just gonna send her a email or a text message.
And you have paperwork and documentation for the approved liability insurance and.
I will. I have not done that yet because I was waiting to see, but I will have that in the end of the week.
Okay,
And I'll send it to you.
okay.
If you have questions too.
And the Montana Department of Labor and
Do that,
Industry
yes.
forms. Okay.
But I think we would be very safe to motion this as the board approves all of the, approves this bid, giving authority of the board chair to work with legal to make sure we handle the contracting end appropriately.
Joe, are you guys all ready for that? Okay with that, I mean,
So we're redoing the motion then? Or we're good to go as is and then just? What was the motion?
the motion was to, do the temporary custodial bid proposal.
Okay.
I made the motion, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
you
sir.
did.
I could just amend the motion real quick.
Sure.
Amend the motion to approve the temporary custodial services bid proposal, contingent on the board chair working with Keleva to ensure that the contract is done properly.
A second.
Any, public discussion? Mrs. Chanowitz, could you please say your name for the camera, and then the floor is yours.
My name's Casey Chenoweth, and I was just having a question. So, are you going to keep open a bid for a more of a long-term
Yes,
custodial
ma'am.
bid?
This is just for a temporary, so we can have a custodial in place. So this bid is for 30 days. And then in that 30 days, we will put it on our website, we will advertise, we will hope to get more than just one bid in there, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so after the 30 days, it would open up to public to write a bid for the contract then?
Yes, well, in those 30 days of this, it's gonna be advertised, so we're hoping to have it, the new person or whatever decision we go with, start Sunday 31.
So hopefully it'll be announced next week, or this, probably early next week, or this week even.
You mean advertised?
Advertisement.
We can get that advertised probably this week.
So it should go on the
I have
website
it
this
ready
week.
to go over to the paper tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Awesome.
And the board recognizes Mr. Pafford.
Yes, thank you. I think this is a question for the superintendent. In the vetting process, was there any new legislation that may affect this particular effort?
None that I'm aware of,
For example,
the bid would be.
background checks?
Well, yeah,
That's
there's
all.
background checks,
Okay.
all volunteers, and employees, they'll all be background checked,
Okay,
fingerprinted.
and that's all I have. Thank you.
I was pleasantly surprised at how thorough you were with those things.
I've done a lot of contracts over the years with government and other agencies, so it's all in there.
Awesome.
Any further discussion from the board? Miss Tam, did I see a hand? Okay, I didn't, sorry. Miss Tammy, can you do a voice, vote?
Absolutely. Trustee Manning,
Yes.
Board Chair Meskowitz,
Aye.
Vice Chair Oldenburg,
Aye.
Trustee Ramsey.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Can I, moving on to item 6D, consider approval the required policy updates from Caliber Law.
I make a motion to consider approval from the updates for Caliber Law.
A second?
And, as because my brain's not working. Do you guys want to go one by one, all 10 of these, or can we approve 1 through 10 to open the discussion for all 10?
Well, we just made the motion that opened all of them,
Okay.
but we are gonna have to talk about them all individually,
Yes,
cause a lot of them have
Yes.
optional clauses.
Yes. yes. Okay, public discussion about our board policies. I don't know if you guys have them in your, yes, sir, Mr. Packard.
I'm sorry, are we gonna talk about one in particular?
Well, we're gonna talk about all of them. We're opening the floor to discuss all 1 through
In any
10.
particular order?
1 through 10.
So starting with,
We're gonna start with 1 and
There you
go.
go, okay, thank you.
Would you like a copy of them, Mr. Packard?
No, Miss Tammy, I'm good, thank
Okay.
you.
Mr. Downs, would you like to look at them?
Mrs.
Copies for
Novak,
for
would you
Mr.
like
Byler,
some?
who is not here.
Ms. Novak, I have a copy if you'd like to look at them.
Oh, I really don't.
Okay. That's okay, I just wanted to make sure that.
wonderful, Vicky.
As fascinating as that sounds.
Okay, so the public is good, so board discussion, we're gonna start with policy 1111. So my understanding is what has been presented to us with policy 111 is that they are changing. That's a big difference. That's the only thing I don't understand.
Can I ask you a couple questions?
Yes, please do.
I'm not sure if
Mhm.
BA communicated. So one of the, I feel like I failed in my homework on this one, so found and referenced 2023 MCA, failed to find the legislation that is leading to the changes that drove them to make these changes, which bothered me because
They should be in there by now.
they're not on the Montana.gov website yet. I mean, the bills would be if I knew how to sort through them and identify what led to each of these, but that would. I don't know as though it matters, but like in this first one is very non-controversial, but it is a change from where they used to have to be within at least 40 days in advance.
And
Now they're
it's-
saying between 85 and 145.
Yeah.
I think that could make it tougher for us to get folks to put in potentially. So I would like to know if the law was very prescriptive and those are the dates in the law,
Okay.
or if it was not prescriptive and that's something generic that Keleva is recommending. Does that make sense?
It does, and I really wish I could answer that because if you could not find them, then I wouldn't be able to find them. So, but it is a question since I am going to make a phone call to her that I definitely can add that to the list. And we could do this as our first reading, and we could put 111 on our on old business for the next meeting. We don't have to approve them all tonight. Like if we have questions and clarifications, we can put them on old business.
Because frankly, most of these I have similar questions, not all of them.
Okay.
So, but I mean, we could go that route.
And just fill all the questions we have about them and then
Mhm.
put it on for an email to her.
Well, and I will be talking to her about the contract anyway, so just loop it all into one conversation.
Okay.
And we can probably get some of the generic questions answered on the 18th too.
So you want to know?
Well, because the other, I noticed one of the changes in that particular one is she deleted the reference to MCA. And As
I wonder
opposed-
if they took it all out.
Yeah, that's where it's either gonna take a lot of time to do some work to find each of these laws, each of these changes in the legislation, or we get a quick reference guide from her or something.
Okay.
That-
So you wanna find out when the law became law?
Or would it change?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what specific, I'd like to, like, just like these cite code, it'd be nice to have the citation for the piece of legislation, or if the code was updated, to have the new code, so that we could read the specifics and compare it to the proposed changes. Especially, for the ones where we think maybe a slightly different alternative would be better.
And you did look at the redacted and both of them that she sent us, cause she sent us 2 copies
That's
of each.
all I read was the redlined version,
Okay.
where it showed exactly what changed,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so that was does anybody else have any other questions on policy 1111?
Not on that one in particular.
Okay, so I'm just taking notes so that we can ask all of these. And then 2100.
Basically establishes commemorative days. I certainly have questions for Mr. Ramsey about thoughts on that. I assume that that's law. I haven't seen that legislation.
Yeah,
So I do have a question. Well, it's not even on here. Never mind.
And my question on that is just what are appropriate exercises of these commemorative days?
so appropriate exercises could be, short as 15, 30 minutes if they're meaningful. But they're to exercises during the school day to commemorate those people and events listed, with the earliest one being Citizenship Day on September 17th. So it could be anything from instructional activities in the classroom to school-wide observances or reflective or civic activities that we would conduct at school. And it's recommended that you provide documentation of those activities for the board or any auditors. And I need to get more clarification myself on exactly what we're required to do for those days. Is it okay if we sing happy birthday to Lincoln on Lincoln's birthday, or what exactly is entails those activities?
Okay. Any other questions? Just for clarification, it does say on here school holidays that we have to have out, and I was kind of reading over. We don't have any Knoxon have to have out days, do we? Cause it says in yellow, identify any other days the school will be closed.
Oh, like a special holiday?
Yep, school
No.
holidays.
No, other than the, already scheduled breaks and things.
So moving on to 2132. This one is a tricky one.
Yeah, I was just confused by the language change because to me it seemed to be saying the same thing.
That's politics. Somebody likes one word better than the other.
Again, I'd like to understand why they're recommending the change, because this language is extremely confusing. Good luck interpreting it. I don't like confusing, ambiguous language.
This one was very confusing to me as well. It almost reads as though surveys given to students, we must provide an opt-in policy rather than an opt-out policy.
Because, well, and this one she's gonna have to give me better reference on this because I do know the parenting law very well. And I do not think that this is, unless I have not read everything, which realistically could be, but from my understanding is that the opt-in and opt-out is fine as long as you give the parent the option to do either. You cannot, the school cannot change in the middle of the year to opt-in versus opt-out. Once we go opt-out, you have to stay opt-out. Like, we can't change the wording.
Right.
Because then that confuses parents and they always think that, well, we sent a form to opt out. And if we don't send that form back in, that basically is saying that we could have our kid do the survey. But then 2 surveys down the road, we do it where, no, you have filled the form in to opt in. Then you'd have parents. So I do know that that is supposed to be very clear.
Right.
And anything that could be considered violating the parenting right law has to be opt-in or opt-out.
So I guess that's all it's saying is that if there's no personally identifiable information, they have to opt out if they don't want to do it. If there is personally identifiable information, they have to opt in. The default is not that you get to include them. I do think there's a typo in the very first. The word necessary is probably in there one too many times, but
I don't like, I am against taking the wording out on the second page. Just for the record.
well, I think it's taken out because that bullet basically replaced it above. Does that make sense?
I see that, but I like the clear definition of page 2 versus what we have on page 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's the language that's being traded, so I'd be curious why she wants to trade it.
Okay.
I would word it entirely different from both of these if it was me.
The wording in there was really hard to read.
You find that with lawmakers.
So another one we could seek feedback.
And then 2135.
So this one is extremely prescriptive. This is the one I wanted to make sure Mr. Ramsey, I mean, I just think about,
This one again, this one ties so much into the first one that we just went over, 2132, that if we mess up on 2132, then we just set 3135 up to fail. Mr. Packard, do you have a question?
If it's appropriate at this time.
You can say your concerns and then we'll just go from there.
Well, this is one of the policies that make me miss being on the board.
Okay.
Okay,
Which one is that?
This is 2135.
Okay.
2135 got my attention. So I don't know who to direct these questions to.
All of us.
I'm looking at the redacted and the correction. I'm on the first page. Human sexuality instruction means, I see the redacting language
Mm-hmm.
that it used to be,
Yes, sir.
and then I see the new stuff. I see that the words sexual orientation and gender identity from the old policy is missing from the definition of human sexuality instruction in the new policy. Okay, so that leads me to read further. So I'm still on page 1, and I see a definition for identity instruction. And lo and behold, identity instruction means instruction that has the goal or purpose of studying, exploring, and informing students about gender identity, gender expression, or sexual orientation. So I guess that sort of answered my question, where did it go? But it created another question, where did that come from? I looked at your cross references, and there is an MCAI, Montana Code annotated, giving us the parameters for K through 12 human sexuality education. And I have a copy of it here that I got a copy of. In the MCA that's being referenced, it does indeed say, for purposes of this section, human sexuality means, and it goes through verbatim what ours does, but it has gender identity and sexual orientation in it. Ours, as it's rewritten, will not. We have somehow added identity instruction, which is not currently in our curriculum guide. I pity the poor fool that drew the short straw on creating lesson plans and ends up having to teach this. And I don't need to remind the board, I'm sure you're aware, that the board in policy number 2120 has to approve
Yes.
any new curriculum that is introduced in the school district. So it got my attention, where did we find identity instruction? What will that curriculum look like? Who's going to present it? Who's going to get it? And why are we changing, why are we editing out the words sexual orientation and gender identity from our previous policy and putting it in something brand new that I'm concerned the board and the community has no idea what it is?
So is that 2023 MCA that you're referencing?
I'm looking at 20-7-120.
From 2023?
Yes,
MCA?
yes, at 2023.
So I think I'm gonna speculate a little bit, but I think this last legislative session, some things came out. I believe what they're trying to do here is make a clear distinction between human sexuality instruction versus identity instruction.
And that's
So that parents have the opportunity to opt in to one or the other, but not both. Functionally, I think that's what this is trying to do. I don't believe that strong enough that I would say, yes, let's adopt this right now. I think we have some homework to do to see what laws changed and what drove this recommended change from Kelowna.
Well, and also then you're gonna have to take a look at your cross-references list. If there is legislation beyond what that is currently published on there, it needs to be added.
That's precisely what I was saying earlier, is the same thing.
It needs to be added on there because currently I access the current Montana Code annotated, what's currently on record in Montana at leg.gov, and this is what it says. So the new legislation, if it's there, has not been posted for the public.
That's precisely what I'm saying. 2023 MCA is the latest and greatest that's on the
Yeah.
website, so it does not reflect changes from the
Ooh,
last.
ooh, ooh.
So I think these are changes from the last session that are not into publicly available code yet, and that's why I would like to have the actual legislation in front of us if we're going to make changes before it actually ends up in code.
That's a wise decision, that's a good call.
That's why.
So my original concern, if I may, then I'll sit down and be quiet. My original concern is, are we indeed creating a new curriculum for the district to consider? Does identity instruction merit new lesson plans, new training for the instructor, and a whole litany of different requirements that the board and the community would want to know about before we codified it in a policy.
Well, I mean, I think, gender identity, sexual orientation were in the previous policy, those words, that's part of
Yes.
what was redacted. It was just, in the past, qualified as being part of human sexuality instruction.
But I would hinder to weigh caution and figure out that we would definitely need to find out if this is going to change our curriculum, how the parents, how the teachers, it's going to be a big thing.
We need to understand the law before we can even dive into any what ifs.
And Kelva has scrubbed this.
She's the one who sent us these before,
Okay.
right in our transition with saying goodbye to white cells. So this is our first reading on 10 out of the 35 that we got sent. So,
Okay. May I, for the record, just remain available to the board. And I look forward to being able to discuss the contents of this particular policy a lot more as it develops.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I clarify?
Yes.
Sorry, this might not be the time. So, not about this in general, but it sounds like a lot of the policies, potentially our lawyers' access might be different than the public's access to these things, and so it might seem premature that these are being adopted. Is that what's happening?
It could be, but we're not. I'm not prepared to say yes and it be no because I don't know
Like,
that.
so,
But
so she might have access to information that we don't. So she's
Right.
proposing these, but we aren't quite sure why. Is that what's
yes,
happening?
we're asking legitimate questions that would trigger, I would say, informed.
Anybody does have access, as
Yeah.
the governor signs this legislature into law.
Yeah. It
Just
just
don't
looks
have a
like the
good means to
website's
identify
not
which
updated.
pieces of legislation
Yeah.
ended up resulting in these suggested changes.
And basically, what we're saying is we would like to know exactly why this changed and how this affects everything, how it trickles down. Because if we put a policy in and it might just be 2 words changing, but it might trickle into changing our curriculum
Yeah.
and everything like that. So it has a widespread.
Yeah. You want
Effect.
to get your questions answered and figure
Yeah.
out why these changes are being
Exactly.
requested. Yeah.
From what I've
Thank you.
looked at in this one, it mandates that parents have to provide an opt-in for any human sexuality, and it's tied, it's getting it aligned with, I think it's Senate Bill 518. So,
Yeah, I think you're right, and pulling those 2 components apart, so you gotta opt in to
so
either or.
you can opt in, you have to opt into either of them.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to 2150, suicide awareness and prevention.
And interestingly, it changed it from 2 hours to 1 hour mandatory, but more frequent, from every 5 years to 3 years.
But is she, like, we are adding in here, training may be delivered in person or through video conference, self-study, designated materials, or self-review of online modules approved by the district. Was it not in there before that we would not do that?
I don't think it was explicitly stated where the training materials would come from.
Okay, so
Previously.
well, the reason why I was asking is I was kind of more or less asking, did we have video conference and everything, or did we have to go in person to do this training?
The suicide awareness training we've been through has been the QPR training.
Mm-hmm. And that's
which is
online, right?
It's all been in person.
Okay.
Though this year I did, through our vector training, give staff suicide awareness training through, it's online.
Okay.
And we're doing a lot more robust things than this within the district right now, we just, is that the
Hope
QPO?
squad and everything.
Right.
Well, I just don't want, I don't know, my fear is if we put the video conference, self-study and designated material and self-review online modules, that we will get out of the habit of going in person and having that
Right.
versus sitting in front of a computer screen. I would like the district to, as every chance we get, to go more in person.
In person, that would be my intention as well.
But if it's in a policy, then we can fall back and use it. I don't know. Just my fear is that we would go more.
I completely agree, however, I would rather not hamstring ourselves. There could be an amazing opportunity that comes up that OPI puts out, and it's very cost effective way. So I'm very comfortable keeping that language there, recognizing most of us at least believe in person is almost always better.
This policy, I don't have, that was my only problem with that is, like, I just wanted to voice my opinion that in person is way better than.
Yeah.
So anybody else have any concerns with 2150?
No, other than I do wanna make sure that if there is any required changes to the legal references, those get added at the appropriate time.
What do you mean?
I want as much code and all rules referenced as this as exists. Everything that that provides sideboards or context for these policies, I think should be referenced. Actually, I'm gonna have a question for Mr. Pafford after the meeting about policy in the past.
Okay, 2165. This is, we've already approved this one. Yeah,
Well,
no, we did.
I
This-
know, so we approved a version, now there's some legal changes, so we're gonna have to, but we can't take what she did, we gotta take our version that we already approved and then integrate the legal changes she's suggesting to it. So you're correct, we did change it because we had to get, the money in the door.
Okay, but this was the changes that we used, the 2165, the changes that she sent us when I called Kelly.
Oh, we started with this version.
We started with the 2165, so
we've
this,
already done
the
it.
changes to this one has already been approved and back for Courtney's policy.
You are correct, thank you, sorry,
No, you're,
nailed it.
okay, 2334.
Lots of optional language.
Sense, but I guess I get it. I'm guessing since she has the line through A and all of them, she wants to put this sentence and this sentence together.
Well, I suspect the law says that this is a right of families where it used to say a district may do something, now it is the district shall. And and so what got deleted was that the district reserves the right to rescind, and also that we could place limits, and it took that right away from, that became law as opposed to something the board could make a decision
Well, it
on.
just, I'm just guessing, cause usually it would, technically, I guess I would think that she would have just took B and C out and left A the way it was and D the way it was and just put them, but I'm guessing she wants to just add one as a paragraph instead of.
Did you look at the clean version of that to show what changes there would be?
No, I just looked at what you sent us,
Okay.
I read all of the 35 of them, but with, getting ready for this board meeting, I just went with what you sent us.
Okay.
my printer's not being nice right now, so. So if we did go for the optional language, the district will award academic credit for completion of religious instruction release time courses or credits from independent. How do we, how would we do the time for that? Like how do we be in compliance with that? Because we would have to rely on a parent or somebody else that is not a district employee giving us
To vouch for the
correct, so,
fulfillment of those requirements.
yes, so is that kind of like with our homeschool students, we ask them to provide that their children have a 2.0 GPA to play sports?
It would be similar to that, yeah.
And who would be in charge of doing that? Would that be our?
That would be your guidance council.
Okay.
So there is, that first option is that we could provide longer release time by policy, but it has to be a minimum of 1 hour.
Minimum of 1 hour per.
Yep.
What are the superintendent's thoughts on that optional?
My thoughts, were we to have a family, I would start with the 1 hour per week. Not extend it until we see how this works.
So I guess where I'm going is, we could leave it as the first sentence, the district shall, or we could have two sentences, the district shall, second sentence, the district may. You know what I mean? So we shall provide up to 1 hour a week, we may provide additional time.
Oh, I'm seeing what you're saying, so
Yeah.
we shall provide at least 1 hour per week.
I assume that's the law, the way this is written.
And may provide more with administration approval or something.
Yeah, listen, just wondering your thoughts on that, or if we just leave it at the 1 hour for the time being.
I think leave it at 1 hour for the time being.
Well, and that gives us the discretion that Johnny might need 2 hours a week
Right.
and Sally might need 1 hour. So it gives you kind of the administration, the latitude to do like independent for each student's needs.
Right.
If we put it the way it is there.
At the same time, that, retaining flexibility and being able to look at unique situations is generally good. Having a standard that the superintendent can point to also is a way to ensure avoiding a perception of preferential treatment or things like that.
There's that fine line between being Moxon's motivation or not motivation. I think it's the word. Aside into our strategic plan of giving individual education plans for not IEPs, but basically kind of the same thing as an IEP, like giving their needs for each student.
Sorry, there's a bunch of deer out there now. I think the volleyball girls just got back.
So the other second optional part is the district will award academic credit part. I just, same story as before, I would like to see the law next to the suggested policy change and make decisions from there.
I like how we get the language. Miss Annie, can you do this? Thank you. I like how and it says that we have an option, so I'm guessing we could pick what our district needs 1 through 4. I don't think it's telling us we have to have 1 through 4. I think we can pick what our district needs. So now we're good here.
I think we would probably want to do all 4 if we were gonna, but I would lean on those of you that have been educators to
And I do like how she did tell us that this does cross-reference 2 of our other policies. Which is that's why I was asking how we're going to keep track of their credits that they do get for those things, because it can affect the graduation.
absolutely.
And I wish we could make this more black and white instead of being gray when it comes to the credits, because I think that's gonna lead us into a difficult situation down the road when we have parents who think this is gonna work to get one of their credits, and then it doesn't work, and then a child is left without a credit to graduate with. So does anybody else have any other discussion on this one?
I don't know.
Okay, 2410, student instructions, high school graduation.
Sit down now. Isn't this just tied to the one that we just looked at, is my
It is.
understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, this is identifying number of credits. Regardless of, but then it does have the optional religious course time in there.
And we do need to be in consideration that 2 years, the board decided that we were lowering the credits to graduate, and we're
We're at 24,
going to 21.
going to 23. I would really like to see us stay at 24.
This is a great way to change it, because we got credits right here, so we could.
I would agree with that strongly.
I do not, it would be more difficult at this point to raise that. I think 26 is a good number.
Can I ask you what Thompson Falls, Libby, Troy?
I have looked that up before, but I don't have it in my mind.
I know, I do know the GPA, how we were doing it, how we were accumulating our GPA is different than Thompson Falls a few years ago. But I could not tell you the numbers per se.
I thought we were higher.
We are
Thompson Falls.
Yeah,
we are for, to graduate,
Yeah.
because if Thompson Falls students come here their senior year, they have to
they have
take
to make
extra.
that credit.
Yes.
I think Thompson Falls is at the state minimum 20. They may get 21 or 22.
So can you, sorry, I don't wanna get too far down the bunny trail, but if I recall correctly, what I think I learned about things that happened before I was on the board, there was a new plan to drop, what were we at 5 years ago, say?
26.
26.
And we're currently at 24, and the
This year's
long-term
senior.
vision was to go to 23,
2.
22. What was the logic behind those? Were you part of those
I
discussions?
was not part of those discussions.
Would you like me to fill in the blanks?
I would love.
Okay, the logic behind that is there was quite a few. One is if we had a senior or junior coming from Thompson Falls to be in our district, they had to make up the difference in criteria. So if you use Thompson Falls, let's say Sally was in Thompson Falls, she was on the fast track to graduate, but she moved here, she'd have to come up with extra credits.
Shouldn't have to go into credit return.
And then that was also, the state requirement was so low compared to what our standards was. And we were having a hard time getting students coming here because they would have to make up those credits. Cause in order to graduate from Knoxon, you had to have 26, but the state is 21.
Is there a maximum in the?
No, you can have extras. Like if you were in the honors courses, you can have extra. You
I
can
guess
have A, B, like the honor roll, like to have like the college and stuff. Some
No,
schools.
is there a maximum, minimum
No,
requirement?
there's only a minimum to get your high school diploma in the state of Montana.
There,
It's
no,
21.
state law doesn't provide a maximum minimum.
It's just
You
a
think
minimum.
they'd have to, otherwise a board could say we require 96 credits.
Well, the
Something
length
totally
of our, the
unattainable.
length of our day, we have 7 period day, you're gonna get,
28
you're gonna get
tops,
28, the most you can get.
7 per.
That helps, thank you.
But yeah, so that was the big push of it. We were losing enrollment because if I came from Texas and my son had to get 20, let's say he had 20, he only needed 4 credits to graduate. But he was only able to get those, but Knoxon made it where he had to get 8 credits. I will send him to Thompson Falls to get the 4 credits instead of having to do 8 credits.
We also had Knoxon students transfer to Thompson Falls because, okay, I failed a couple of classes, I had to do credit recovery, I recovered the mandated classes,
Your
but now
core
I'm short
classes.
electives and I won't be able to graduate, so I'm gonna transfer over to Thompson Falls so I can graduate.
So
There was a variety of different
Yeah.
reasons.
it was a give and take. We have to meet the demands, and also if we, one of the things was is if we have the state has our core classes. So if we give them those, maybe we'll have better electives. But that was the talk behind. But it was the push for to be competitive with the other schools in our districts.
So where was this outlined, or was it just generally discussed among the board that eventually we would get down to 22?
It's in the minutes, 2 years ago.
But there is no formal decision guiding that.
Yes,
It's in policy now.
yes.
It is in policy.
Yes, cause it says in our policy that it's a tapered effect, because we didn't want to, we would have had our juniors and seniors when we decided to do it, they would have been able to graduate with the credits that they had already had. We didn't want that, so we had to taper it down so that we didn't have a mad dash of graduation. I believe it was Mr. Potts's first year. So it was Miss Annie's second year.
Yeah, so it is the
During the
old,
same time.
so it's the old version of
Mhm.
2410 is where this is defined.
year before you.
Yeah.
Wasn't he just
Yeah.
appointed halfway through? Okay, so
Yeah, cause you guys were on the ballot today. Oh, well, the reference to the, religion instructions is House Bill 381.
Yeah, see, I wish you had done that for all of these.
Okay. I thought I was missing, I was about to go back and look at all of them.
No, it's not there.
Okay, any further discussion on the credit ones? I'm gonna make notes there.
Well, is our plan to have a second reading on these
Yes,
essentially on all of them?
absolutely, yes. There's only one that's been approved and that was because it was approved back in, August or, August, July.
I will just say, the way this is worded with starting with the class of 2027, those kids are what, sophomores currently? So we need to be really careful if we set an expectation for a track that kids are already on, where it's already not attainable to hit something because of the way the
Less
policy
change in
was previously written.
On a 7-period day, I will go through and do a credit analysis of that class and make sure that everybody will be on track to maintain that 24 credit for graduation.
That'd
Thank
be
you.
wonderful. Cause we can shorten that policy up quite a bit if that's the way the board would like to take it.
Were you talking about?
Sorry, I'm reading the currently existing policy.
Yes,
that
that's what I
defines
was
all of
gonna
this.
ask you, what it was that
Yeah.
policy number?
It's the same one, it's
Okay,
this,
2410.
2410, yeah.
Okay. Okay, 2450. There was only one word changed in 2450.
Oops. Oh, yes, changing cooperatively to in consultation. I think we can pass that one.
Okay. So, we'll finish discussing all of these and then I'll make another motion.
Although I am very curious what the legal implication of the difference between cooperatively and in consultation would be.
Okay.
Cooperatively means that the consulted entity would have decision-making abilities, whereas cooperative in consultation, they don't.
Okay. And the last one of 3110. This is tied to our 2165.
Yes, the testing, yeah. And what did we, so 2165, I believe the way we worded that, because it defines the different
We took-
intervention mechanisms, as at home, summer, and the early and pre-K, right? Were the three mechanisms that are identified in there. I believe what we said was that rather than saying we will implement all of these, I think we said may implement all these, or we said we would do pre-K and maybe the others. I'd like to
Yeah.
find the final language on 2165, cause I
Okay.
can't remember. Because that will affect how we word this one also. And I'm sure that's in the cross references.
I thought with 2165,
Yeah, it is.
we did it, identified a half-time,
Mhm.
4-year-old program.
I thought we worded it such that it would not preclude the other two if, does that ring a bell at all? Cause I think you're right, Mr. Ramsey, but I think we also made it so that it left the other two as options without modifying policy.
Oh, the home base program and a jumpstart program.
Yes.
I think you're right. I think I remember it that way.
So for the second reading, we can have that policy in front of us as well and make sure that the language here allows us to implement that policy.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay. Miss Hammy, can I make a motion to table the required policies until the next, put it on the next, for the second reading?
So do you table it, or, I'm not sure how that works with first reading, first, second reading.
Because we're not taking action on them, I think we can just move it to old business action item. Cause we did make a motion to approve them, but we're not approving them, we're asking for more information from legal. So
Okay,
we can table it and then put it on the next agenda as the second reading.
What were you saying?
I said tabling, it seems like a better option than having to sort of redo the motion and.
No,
only do
I
a
didn't wanna
couple.
redo the motion, I just want to, for the minutes.
okay,
Thank you.
so the motion has been tabled.
Yes, ma'am. Can I get a motion for item 6E, consider approval of elementary out-of-district enrollments?
I make a motion to consider out of district elementary enrollments.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any public discussion? Any board discussion?
So we have none, right? We
We
just
got
have-
one
We have one.
One
on the other page.
junior high.
Oh, the 7th grade, okay, yep, thank you.
And then we also have pre-K, or is that not
Yeah,
considered
but that's on,
elementary?
no,
It's a
he
different-
gets, that child gets approved with item G.
Got it.
We have to approve 4-year-olds separate. Miss Amy, can I get a voice vote, please, with Trout Creek abstaining?
Yes, trustee Manning
Aye.
and vice chair Oldenburg.
Aye.
Motion carries, Trout Creek trustees abstaining.
Yes, ma'am. Can I get a motion for item 6F, consider approval of high school out-of-district enrollment?
I make a motion to consider out of district high school enrollment.
Second.
We just got one.
Yes. Any, public discussion? Any board discussion? Okay, Miss Sammy, can you get a voice call? Well, no, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Trustee Manning,
Yes.
board chair Miskowitz.
Aye.
Vice chair Oldenburg,
Aye.
trustee Ramsey.
Aye.
All motion carries, thank you.
Can I get a motion for item 6G, consider approval of 4-year-old students?
I make a motion to consider approval of pre-K 4-year-old students.
A second. Public discussion? Board discussion? How many does that make in the 4-year-old class?
That's on your list there.
Yeah, there's-
that name, so-
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was all of them
But
or
yeah,
not.
that's all. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And a voice,
Vote,
yes ma'am, thank you.
trustee Manning,
Aye.
And Vice Chair Oldenburg.
Aye.
Trout Creek trustees abstaining, motion carries.
So just to clarify before we adjourn, I will send a email and call Ms. Pelliva on the 10 policies and the contract, have a contract approved. And I will get with Mr. Ramsey and Ms. Pelliva on that one. Is there anything else?
Is there anything that prevents Northwest Enterprises from beginning work tomorrow?
As far as legally, I don't think that we do, because I texted Kelly during the meeting and she said that she did look at it, she did not have any concerns, and yes, she can get a contract for us and to us tomorrow.
Okay.
Did she
So-
has she been done the background check already?
Nicola's on our sub list, she's already been through the background check.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we should have a signature for liability reasons, but hopefully we can just do
Yeah,
it in the morning.
Hopefully
I'm
tomorrow.
hoping Kelly can get that to us first thing in the morning. So, but I am not available, just for reference, until 10 o'clock tomorrow,
I can come clean tomorrow night if we can't make it happen.
Alright,
and so can
I can't.
that's fine.
I. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Tammy, we are adjourned at 7:52.